Hey, what's up, Grace Point? We're really excited about our first episode of the Loop Plus. Come on, Michael, you got to join us with the Plus. And we got an exciting episode today. We're going to be giving some updates on what's happening in the life of our church, some really exciting ways that we can get involved as a church and serving our community. So excited to talk about that. We've had some questions. As we're in a time of transition as a church, there's some questions on like, where are we heading in the fall? How are we leaning into our pastor search process? And as we all get excited, we're going to talk about budgeting process.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm glad to have a couple of friends here with me. Why don't you tell me about yourself?
Hey guys, Michael Palladino. I'm an elder here at Grace Point. My wife Leslie and I have been here for, over 10 years now. My daughter Gabby is 17. We just dropped her off at a music festival in Vermont for 4 weeks, which
How's
is
that feel?
You should
really uncomfortable.
You should go ahead and clarify that it's not like a rock music festival.
Correct. This is an intensive orchestra festival
That
where
has a
she is.
feel
Yeah,
to it.
that is
Okay.
fair. I had to learn that terminology myself. So she's playing her viola, about 4 to 6 hours a day,
Ew.
spending the other waking hours watching people play the orchestral instruments. So super uncomfortable for us. First time she'll be away from home for that amount of time. I have a son, Peter, who is 15. So he is getting the upstairs bathroom all to himself right now. And is
Is he getting
very
used to
excited
that?
about that. Well, I mean, last night was our first time home. So I think he's still learning.
yeah.
But anyway, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm Andrew Brown. I forget that a lot of people are listening to this on audio, so they're, trying to figure out who we are. But I'm the operations pastor here, been on staff for almost 8 years. And I actually was one of the followers on Instagram of our friend Michael Palladino's alter ego, Gas Station Mike, reviewing gas stations all around the great state of Arkansas.
I don't know if you could hear the sigh on the audio recording, but
Hey, listen, if you're looking for good quality content, Gas Station Mike, that's where you want to go.
I think you need to lean into it just because you did celebrate your 40th birthday at a truck stop.
it's true. It's true.
So you're a real hero.
It's just to be clear, Gas Station Mike did
Not to be confused with
me.
Gotcha.
Mr. Michael
Gas Station
Palladino.
Mike. He looks a lot like me, sounds a lot like me, but different guy,
Yeah.
different guy.
Definitely wore more hats.
But he did a little bit more of a Southern accent.
Yeah.
But great content if you are
Yeah,
interested in the best gas stations, the right types of food. Gas Station Mike's your guy. Now,
Yeah.
his doctor told him to ease up on the gas station food, so the content's been a little less over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think
But,
it may be time to maybe bring that back.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
I think the world is waiting. So, hey, we do have some exciting things to talk about in our church. First of all, man, this coming Sunday is July 7th. For those of you that are joining, hopefully this week, what's going on July 7th is important for all of us to know. We have one service. I see you guys didn't even know, so it's a good thing we're having this Loop Plus.
I was sitting there thinking, what? Is there anything else special about July 7th?
I'm sure there's quite a few things to people about July 7th. For us, we have one service. Starts at 9:10. So if you show up at the second service, I hope the worship is great. And you just have a great family worship time.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
yeah.
We love you.
Yeah, and hey, following up after that, July 14th, the very next Sunday, we have an awesome opportunity for our church to serve together. We're partnering with Pack Shack. So we're asking all of our church come together at 9:10 service. And then the second service, when we normally meet, what are we going to be doing, Andrew? Tell us a little bit about that.
This was the thing that was crazy to me. I was talking to Jessica Betts, who's our community and member engagement. Is that right? That's her title, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
you're correct.
And then Ellie, who works alongside her. And we're going to actually be packing something like 30,000 meals.
Wow. Wait, are you serious?
Yeah. They said one person can pack, now I forget the numbers, but a bajillion meals.
A bajillion?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to be packing 30,000 meals, hanging out together with our families, with the church. and then after we finish with all of those meals, we will eat a meal of our own.
Yeah,
Together.
there's
and
been
just hang
rumor of burgers,
Has there been?
hot dogs. Yeah, that's what I've heard anyway.
Oh, great.
So it'll be good. Great time to hang out as a church, serving our community. And, we shared in the intro, our last episode, just how exciting it's been to watch our church serve one another and serve our community after the tornado cleanup. And, man, just collecting bikes with Pedal It Forward, partnering with them. And so July 14th is our next Hope NWA event where all of our church is serving together to care for our community. So we're super excited. If you haven't registered, encourage you to do that. You can find that on our website or just show up. Hey, we'll have a place for you, and you can pack a gajillion meals with us.
Yeah, and if you have one of those Hope NWA shirts that you wore in April, I have been told, make sure you go ahead and go find that bad boy. Yeah. You're going to want to wear it that day.
That's a great idea.
Michael, not to put you on the spot, have you registered?
No, I have not.
Don't be like Mike.
Dum. Hey, there's still time. Listen, there's grace for you and for Gas Station Mike. So
we'll get you registered.
You will register both of you. Both.
Perfect.
Both. You could do a review of our food.
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh,
so
interesting.
Like a live Gas Station.
This could be his comeback.
Podcast?
We'll see.
From Hope NWA.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
I'll have to talk to him. I don't know if he's doing that sort of endorsements
how do you
not
contact him? Is that a text? Is it only via Facebook Messenger? What's going on?
I'll have to find the password to the Instagram account. We'll see.
Hey, these gajillion meals we're packing. The awesome thing is we get to actually be a part of distributing those. So we'll be talking about that in the future of distributing those meals to people in need. So we're really excited about that. Hey, a couple of other updates I think is pretty important in the life of our church. Just kind of want to walk through together. One is we're just ending our fiscal year, not to be called the physical year. Some people call it physical year.
They will not be named.
It's more commonly called the fiscal year, which is the end of our budget year. Ends actually just ended the end of June. So we've been through a budget process, and I've asked Andrew, who leads our finance as operations pastor, oversees our finances. Yeah. So, hey, just share a little bit about that process, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's really cool. For Michael, you've served as a trustee before, so you've kind of seen some of the inner workings of that. But it's really neat. We have an awesome group of trustees who kind of govern the finances of the church. There's 5 of them right now. We'll kind of expand that team to 6, but all through the month of May, that group meets, and for us it was May and June really. That group meets and looks at kind of the state of giving within our church and the state of our finances, and like we finished this year, we probably came in just a little bit short of what we budgeted, but thankfully also our expenses were below that as well. So we're in a good position, a healthy position, but as we began to build out our budget for this coming year, we had kind of several sort of objectives to it that I think really helped shape the direction that we're going. The first one was that one of the things that is so crucial to our ministry here, and I feel like I talk about it all the time, is our team. Our pastoral team, our staff team, and it was a real priority of our trustees to continue to care for them in terms of their compensation and stuff like that. And so that was a big priority for us. Also, we're walking through a season of transition, and so wanted to make sure that we took a fairly conservative approach to budgeting. Just because we're not positive how the next couple months will shake out. There's a lot of transition happening. Summer in general is hard, and so wanting to ensure that we took a conservative approach. So we actually set our budget for this coming year below what our budget was last year, just to be smart with it. The third one was really kind of along that line, like ensuring flexibility. So making sure that we're able to maintain and monitor cash flow in a way that allows ministry to happen and doesn't hinder that. But also that that kind of like takes into consideration just current realities, both within the church and within the world in general. And then the fourth one, and this was just crucial to everything was we are leaning in heavy as a church to discipleship, right? And so everything that we do, we want to make sure that takes priority. So that comes in with not only what we budget for and what's in the budget, but even how we structure our budget. We did a little bit of a restructuring on it that more closely aligned with our vision of discipleship. And so it's been a healthy process. The trustees go through it and do that, and then present it to the elders, and the elders kind of finalize and approve it, and it takes effect July 1st of every year. So yeah.
What's so amazing is to have, you mentioned the trustees. You mentioned 5 trustees. How much do the trustees get paid for this role?
Well, every now and then they get a Chick-fil-A.
A Chick-fil-A sandwich or some strips.
We give them some handouts. So no, these are incredible men and women who serve purely out of a love for Jesus and out of a love for this church. And it's always been encouraging to me to sit in those rooms. I imagine it has been for you too, Michael. Like the amount of desire to not just be about numbers and money, but to be about watching ministry happen is always something that's overwhelmed me. In a really grateful way.
I enjoy. There's always a tension of we've got to be good stewards of the dollars that we have, applying good business principles to financial management, but also expecting God to provide. And God doesn't provide that money to just put in a bank. That money is for ministry. That money is for us to go out and serve His kingdom. And so it's really neat, having been in that room with that group, it's neat to see how they use the funds that we, Grace Point, give to this church, give to God, and use those funds to effectively to carry out kingdom work.
Yeah. It's incredible. And really, I say this to the podcast crew, but just in general, we're super open to talking about this. So if you find yourself in a place where you have questions, shoot me an email, andrew@gracepointchurch.net, and we'll definitely sit down and talk about it. So
we are going to share more about the budget in August, correct?
Yep, absolutely. August 18th, we're looking at a fall launch day. So be listening for more information on that. But yeah, absolutely. We'll be sharing more details about that and lots of other things.
I like what you did there. Be listening, to the Loop.
That's right. Loop Plus. Hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good chance.
Yeah.
A good opportunity because you don't want to miss those plus opportunities.
Right.
Hey, I know we talked about our trustees serving. It hits me every Sunday how blessed we are to have such a church of serving people that serve, that lead us in worship. Every Sunday, I'm like, man, I wish I had an opportunity to sit down and with everyone helping us lead in worship, just say thank you. So I say it here. Thank you for those that help on Sunday mornings, to our producers. Even Michael serves as a producer, but we have so many people that serve behind the scenes that are church members, and trustees are an amazing part of that. And so we're so, so grateful how they lean in. And I just join you guys, so encouraged that, they want to be good stewards of the finances. They want to do, things right, but with a faithful, passionate outlook of how we as a church are making disciples. So it might just be real quick worth mentioning. We talked about restructuring the budget.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of our folks don't know, just last fall, we restructured the way we team. So our budget and our teaming actually aligns now. So we restructured our staff team last fall to better align with our discipleship vision. So we have 4 or 5 departments. We have operation pastor Andrew here, who oversees finances, our communication, HR. Did I miss anything?
Maybe.
Lots of other things, podcast editing, things like that. So lots of things. We're super grateful for Andrew. Jessica Betts, who leads community and member engagement, helping us love our community well and then love those who God sends us into our church well and getting them plugged into the life of our church. We also have Taylor, who leads our worship ministry, which now involves student worship, worship events outside of our Sunday gathering, helping to be sure to just ensure that we are, providing great opportunities to worship God together. We have our family discipleship ministry led by Emily. And what am I missing?
Jared.
Jared, yeah, that's pretty important since we're talking about discipleship. Jared
Yeah.
leads our adult discipleship ministry. So we aligned our team to our discipleship vision last fall and then just restructured our budget to align with those teams. So
Right.
if you hear a lot about discipleship at Grace Point Church, it's intentional. And we're super excited to see what God's going to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and you. I mean, especially your role within missions. Like, so for those of you who don't know, Eric is kind of not just our executive pastor, and not just our host of the Loop Plus, but he's also our interim missions
Yeah.
pastor
That's-
of
yeah,
sorts.
sure.
So
We'll go with that.
yeah, so making sure that our strategy when it comes to like global stuff is solid. And I mean,
Yeah.
we got a team forming for Zambia. We got a team going to Japan
we got
in like a couple weeks.
This month,
Yeah,
we'll be
so-
commissioning a team to Japan to serve with our folks there, Will and Elizabeth in Osaka. So we're
Yep.
super excited about that. Got a group getting organized to go to Zambia. We've got Guatemala and then Japan again. Lots of things happening. We've got a lot of work to do to
Sure.
focus on our work here locally, but also globally.
Yeah.
But we're excited about those that have already plugged in and just the opportunities God's given us. So, yeah. All right. Well, hey, let's transition. Lots of things to be excited about in the life of our church. It's just really exciting to see how God is blessed. And one thing I meant to just ask, like, we haven't really financially, we haven't hit crisis mode.
No.
Like, you talked about being conservative, but what have we seen? Like, have we seen any evidence of concern or?
No, I think that's one of the cool things is that we've seen our church continue to be generous, continue to be faithful, and which is just always incredible. It allows us to think about ministry in a way that we couldn't if it was kind of a little bit of a more panic type situation. So the generosity of our church has continued. One thing that is worthwhile just for people to know is like we carry some level of reserve, which allows us to also kind of operate and
Be
and
prepared
know
if
that
necessary.
so but
Yeah.
there's definitely not been any sort of
Good.
let's panic,
Yeah.
which has been awesome.
Yeah. I agree. I'm so grateful for our church. We talked about serving and giving, generous giving. So thank you, church, just for being faithful in this time of transition. And as we talk about transition, a lot of questions have been asked, like, hey, where are we heading? What's the process? Like, are we looking for a new pastor? Like, what's that look like? And so we've asked, I almost called you Garage Mike. Is there a Garage Mike or is it just gas station
Bro,
Mike?
that might be the next iteration.
Garage Mike.
Wow.
I don't know what that
Wow.
would be, but
You don't
hey,
have to
feel-
eat as much food.
Just go with that and feel free to use that how you would.
You could go
like.
review people's garages. Oh, that'd be incredible.
Just roll up.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. Just, hey, I'm Garage Mike. Can I review your garage?
I'm gonna have to put that one in the old back pocket, and we'll
I
wait
don't
and
know,
see.
man. I might would bring that to the forefront.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty intriguing.
Like maybe in the pickleball off season.
yeah,
There is no
the
pickleball
lucrative
off-season.
pickleball.
Pickleball never sleeps.
On to maybe a little bit more important things. Not the Garage Mike's not important, but hey, let's just where are we in the process? Like, if you just share with our church, like, what are we looking at? The elders I know have been talking about this for a few weeks, like process and where we're heading. So we'd just love to hear, share from the elders' perspective. Where are we heading, Michael?
Yeah. So for about the past month, we've been soliciting input, having a lot of our own discussions amongst the elders, amongst the staff, really honing in on what we're looking for in terms of the job description, in terms of persona, building that out. And so we've gotten that through. We've also been looking at putting together the interview team. And so, we've got a pretty extensive interview team. So there's a ton of elders, staff, lay members that are going to be a part of that. What's our count?
A lot.
I think last week you said cacophony, the last episode.
cacophony. Yeah.
We'll just go with that.
Yeah. But I heard one of y'all mention earlier this morning 32. So
Yeah.
uh,
Well, let's
it's a
be
lot.
clear. Some of you listening are on that team. You just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So, although we've kind of developed that process
Mhm.
in the next few days, man, we're going to be asking some of you guys to serve.
Yeah.
And so I'll be waiting for that email, that call, or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, and so the kind of the way we're starting that process is we'll initially look at sort of our network. So there's the people that we know that have connections to other potential pastors, and so we're working that network now, sharing out that job description, that sort of thing, just to see if there's anybody that we already know that might be in that mix. Beyond that, we'll start to spread the word more broadly, do postings and things like that Andrew could talk more about later. But that process is really, we're kind of calling July 1st, which we're sitting here today on July 2nd. You'll hear this on the 3rd. We effectively kicked that off yesterday. And so from a timing perspective, we don't know exactly what to expect, but talking to a lot of other churches that have gone through this, it's going to be a minimum of 6 months. We know that, we expect that. We're not really sure how long it's going to take. We're praying. We're going to also put in the work, and a lot of you guys will put in the work too, again, on the interview teams and the resume screening process. But definitely expecting it to be a minimum of 6 months, and doing everything we can to make that as fast as possible.
Yeah.
In terms of what we're looking for, I think by tomorrow we'll have a web page up. What it was?
Yeah,
the
so
page.
we'll have it up when this goes live. So as you're listening to this or watching it, you'd be able to go to gracepointchurch.net/pastor.
Thank you.
And that's where you'll be able to see, it's kind of our landing spot for potential candidates to learn maybe a little bit about Grace Point, a little bit about the area, but also about the role. So if you wanted to learn about the role, that would be a great place to go.
And part of what you'll see there, we're actually looking for the title is going to be lead teaching pastor. And so Mike held the title of lead pastor. What we're looking for going forward is a lead teaching pastor. And that's really the primary reason there is the lead pastor. What we'd asked Mike to do was both lead the staff as well as lead the teaching of the church. And that's just a lot to ask in one person. And so we're actually in a really fortunate spot now with Eric here, and I always hate to compliment him to his face, but Eric as executive pastor.
It's okay. Just keep it coming.
Eric as executive pastor is actually doing a great job of leading our staff. And so we've really got that covered well with Eric in place and with the staff that we have. And so primarily what we're looking for is someone that can come in and can teach on Sunday mornings. That's who you'll see primarily throughout the year teaching, as well as mentoring and bringing up other teachers within our staff, not just for Sunday morning, but also for some of our discipleship efforts, things like that. And that individual will be a part of the elders, which are setting the vision of the church, oversight and shepherding of the church in general. So that's what we're looking for. Obviously, again, you'll be able to see more about that on the webpage Andrew mentioned. I'm happy to chat with anyone else if they want to talk more about it.
Yeah, if you have any questions about it, like
Yeah,
find one
reach
of
out
the
to us.
elders. We're glad to talk about it.
Yeah, and you can find. So if you don't know who your elders are, you can go to our leadership page on the website and check out who your leadership are, including the elders. Reach out to us. Hey, one of the as you talked about shifting that role, or maybe looking at teaching pastor rather than lead pastor, and probably some of you see this in the news. Just if you follow any kind of like Christian organizations,
Right.
there's been just several years statistics coming out of burnout among clergy is often the way it's posed, but like pastor burnout. And so, we really believe a large part of that is we oftentimes look to a lead pastor to be all things to all people,
Right.
which is really kind of what we call a unicorn role. Like, hey, we want you to be an amazing communicator, great theologian, understanding of God's word and being able to mentor others. Oh, and also like you need to have organizational skills, administrative skills. And so it's a lot for one person to carry. And so, we really are blessed that we as a church a couple of years ago went to more of a model of plurality of leadership's what it's called. Like the elder model provides the opportunity for different gifts and skills to be complementary to lead the church well. And so there's just been some reasons that there's been a lot of burnout. Is oftentimes there's way too much expectation put on one person, and we're just blessed to not have to be in that situation and be able to lean into a lead teaching pastor's gifts of teaching and prayer, and which is Bible. We oftentimes forget that, like, that's a role of a teaching pastor, is to lead in biblical study and preaching and in prayer for our church. And so I think that's exciting to be able to lean into that as the role.
And there's a lot of really cool things that I think we've kind of seen as we as elders have kind of like become more acquainted with the role in the team, and it's really something super beautiful of God has gifted each one of us differently, like within the whole church, and so to be able to one, like, lean into each other's giftings, but then also to like to submit to one another in our own weaknesses has been really encouraging. And so I do think like we're pretty excited about this role coming in this way, and it should be cool.
And thank you to those of you that are helping. There's going to be a lot.
Yeah,
I think that's important. Our constitution, our church does have a constitution. It does require that the search team, the formal search team, is the elders. But we as an elder team, just like, we definitely want more input.
Yeah.
Wisdom with counsel. And so that's the reason we want to have input from those of you that serve our church and love your church well, and desire God's will for our church. Man, we really want to see us coming together as a church family through this discernment process. And so we just think it's important to have this beyond the team of elders.
Yeah.
So we're super thankful for those of you that are going to say yes to the process and be a part of helping us discern. And I would say, listen, pray. Please. God would connect us to the right networks, to the right people, to the right person. Pray that God give us wisdom and discernment through the process. Give us patience, right, through the process. Any of you that's ever done like a hiring process in and of itself, it can be challenging. Yeah. So you're like, why would it take so long? It just takes a while, getting things out, getting interview processes set up. And so, I just ask church just to be in prayer.
Yeah, that's a role each of us as members of Grace Point ought to play.
Yeah.
To be in prayer for this. What are we? But I mean, there's no but about that. That's a great thing.
Okay.
But Michael you said what? Minimum of 6 months, right? So, what are we doing in the meantime?
Well, listen. First of all, God has already given us great direction for the fall as we roll out really the next steps into our discipleship strategy. You're going to be hearing more about that. We've got a recording of our discipleship pathway that should be live pretty soon. It's getting edited right now. Jared did a great job of recording sessions on what our discipleship pathway is. A lot of you have been asking, like, what is this pathway we're talking about? Hey, that's going to be available. And then...
Well, and we're also going to have Jared as like a future guest on the Loop Plus to talk a little bit about
I have heard this, yes.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. So, definitely we'll hear from him on the Loop Plus. You'll be able to review those videos. But starting in August, we'll be sharing the Discipleship Pathway on Sunday mornings, I think for like 3 Sundays, and then moving into sermon series. And I know many are asking, like, well, who's going to be doing the preaching? And so for the fall, we're really leaning into a preaching team, probably 4, maybe 5 kind of consistent preachers. God's really gifted some within the church to be able to preach and really expound on God's word. And so we're so thankful. We've been blessed by Brett, right? Like, Brett has been doing a great job. He just rolled out the series we just started this past Sunday on Fruitful, studying John 15. It was a great...
Can we talk real quick?
Maybe.
About some of the things that, like, Brett's a real rock star. So he already this summer.
Okay, I see where you're going.
Yeah. He already this summer. He had 1 week where a dog was on the loose. in the midst of his sermon
in the worship center.
in the worship center. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, got
Cute, it
stuck
was a
in
cute
chair.
dog.
Yeah,
wasn't
right.
vicious,
Uh-huh.
thankfully.
And then I wasn't here this last week, but heard that his
Surface,
his Surface
iPad wannabe,
Oh, okay. Froze on him,
Correct.
and he went no notes.
second
but-
service. Yep,
But
he did a
did a great job. So
Absolutely.
if you see
Yeah.
Brett, tell him thank you. Seriously.
So thankful for Brett. And so he'll be the next 4 or 5 weeks will be in John 15. So we're so thankful for that. Peripherally, he'll continue to help us on our preaching team in the fall. So more information on that will be forthcoming on the Plus. And also, we haven't really mentioned just the Loop. Now, there is a Loop that doesn't have the Plus, right? Like, so it's kind of a combo deal.
yeah.
The Loop is what?
So the Loop is an email that comes out every Friday morning. Every Friday, yeah,
Like
weekly.
electronic mail through the interwebs to your computer
Or your devices
or the
of sorts. Yeah.
cellular devices.
That has maybe like a little bit about what God's doing in the church, and then some of the really close upcoming deals
Mhm.
that with links to kind of go and register
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So you'll definitely want to make sure you're subscribed to that.
Yep.
Uh,
If you're not getting the email, subscribe.
Yeah.
Like there's
That's
great
right.
information.
there's a link in the show notes for this
There you go.
and in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. So
So I think what you're saying is, hey, it's important to be in the loop.
mhm.
In the loop.
Plus,
Plus, it's also important to be in the loop plus.
yeah, Michael,
Both
if you want to get in on the puns, you're welcome to.
I'm good. I'm just going to sit here and roll my eyes.
So preaching, the plan for the fall is we'll have a preaching team. We'll be announcing that series here pretty soon.
Yeah.
But super excited about what God's going to do. Some of the rolling out of our discipleship pathway. Yeah, we're excited. Excited what God's going to do.
Sweet. Hey, one thing, just make sure. I know we said it earlier, but we're really trying to push this, lock this in, make this a thing. You know, make sure that you are subscribing to this in your podcast player of choice. Subscribe on YouTube if you want to watch this, and then on all of our social media, you're just going to want to follow. Kind of keep rats in the loop on.
You got to own it. You
I
just got to
know.
own it. You got to be in the loop.
Yeah, you got to keep in the loop. Now I'm just annoyed at myself. No, at Grace Point NWA,
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of that. So yeah,
Well, hey, listen, we're in the middle of July. We're at the beginning of July. Many people still traveling, having a great time, with family. So we're really looking forward to us as a church family being back together in August, see what God's going to do. With 18th being our launch day into the fall, we'll have small groups relaunching, Promotion Sunday for your kids. A lot to be looking forward to. But I would say in July, like even while you're on the road, stay in the loop.
yep.
Lean in into your church family. We're so thankful for those of you that just stayed plugged in and connected and committed to our church family. And man, I'm just excited to see what God's going to do this fall.
Yeah, and don't forget 9:10 only this Sunday.
This
July
Sunday, which is
7th.
July 7th,
Yep.
9:10, one service only. It is family worship.
Mhm.
And then July 14th, one service. But
Plan to be here all
Come to
morning.
worship and then come serve during the second service time, and then we'll enjoy a meal together. So, hey guys, it's been fun. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks.
Mike, for joining us.
Good to hang out, guys.
Once again, go check him out. Garage Mike to come. But right now, you can view him at Gas Station Mike and see some maybe even Pickleball Mike. That might be more relevant.
It's a lot of social media content you're
that
asking
might
for
be,
there.
That might be priority there is Pickleball Mike. So
You'd make a good influencer.
yeah, maybe get a new paddle.
Yeah.
Or a full-size Hershey bar,
Or a full-size Hershey bar.
which was his winnings from the last tournament that
true.
he won. So
Not
a
something
fun size.
either of us can say.
yeah, and it wasn't a fun size. Like it was full-fledged.
Yeah.
It was a full bar. So it was
I
pretty
think that
good.
makes me a professional at
Yeah.
this point.
You got paid.
I think
Yeah.
so.
So,
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Grace Point. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to our next time. Once again, this podcast will be dropping fortnightly, or as most people say, every other week on Wednesdays. So be watching for episode number 2.